mistakes are made?
I think mistakes may have been made when it comes to the firing of those 8 U.S. attorneys, both Attorney General Gonzalez and the President, both admitting that. But was it another mistake to discuss the details of those firings through email? Mike Song is the co-author of The Hamster Revolution, How to Manage Your Email Before It Manages You, or maybe just gets you into trouble. Good morning, Mr. Song. Everybody is itching to hear what you, the expert, have to say on this, because I can tell you some inappropriate emails are just flying through this place. But let's start by this. Are people making a mistake to assume that a work email is secure, confidential, and safe?
They absolutely are. You know, your work email really is owned by the organization that you work with, and one of the astounding things that we found in researching the book, that people were oblivious to that. They thought if they sent one message to one person, it was going to stick with that one person. The reality is, not only can your company look at that message, but the person you send it to could forward it to 5 people who could forward it to 500 more. So be very judicious in what you send to your coworkers, your colleagues, and your family through your work email, because it really can go public very fast, as unfortunately the Attorney General has found out.
Okay, let's talk about the Attorney General right quick here. That case, did that leave you just scratching your head that something this sensitive, somebody decided to discuss those details in an email? Did that leave you just shaking your head?
Yes, it did, because many of the things that were discussed really cast a negative light, I think, on the Department of Justice. These things could have been easily left out of the email messages, and they could have focused on the business at hand. And I think these little things that tend to be inflammatory, little digs on political opponents and people that we're working with, they can tend to snowball into these larger issues, personnel issues. They can be turned into public scandals and litigation. And that's one reason why a lot of our corporate training clients reach out to us, to try to calm that down, and it can really be damaging to your own reputation and your personal career.
All right, Mr. Song, this is a big one here. Everybody wanted to know the 3 things you should never include in a work email. By all means, we've all got our pens ready to take the notes. What are those 3 things?
Well, I think the first thing is misinformation. Anything that's not accurate, anything that's not true, I would leave out of a message. I think it's really important not to forward on rumor, innuendo, exaggerations, and we did see that in the Department of Justice messages. One thing that you should always do is fact-check anything that you get that you're not sure of the content, and there are great fact-checking websites on the internet. We actually offer a free guide to 7 of the best ones at hamsterrevolution.com. Second thing is intense emotional content. If you're angry, bitter, sarcastic, mad, wait 24 hours. Please wait and reconsider that message. You'll send a much more professional message, and it won't snowball into some type of a litigation. And then finally, what I call gray area content. Anything that you think is in a legal, professional, judgmental gray area, pull back from that message. Really ask yourself, maybe this shouldn't be something I send through email, which becomes a permanent, legally discoverable document that can be damaging to your reputation.
Now, who can see your emails before and after you hit delete? I mean, we know that you send it to somebody and you have to just assume that maybe they won't forward it on, but even if they don't forward it on and you actually hit delete, can someone else, or who else can see that email?
Well, email is backed up on tapes at these large backup facilities by most organizations. I mean, certainly big organizations in the government back up their email. It's part of the way the system works. So that is always recoverable, sometimes for decades after you send a message. So you could send 2 messages completely unrelated, and they could be discovered 5 years apart and look like a pattern when in fact you're pretty innocent and you've just you maybe misstated something.
Okay, Mike, let me hit on a couple of quick things here. First, you know, people have the instant messaging in the office. We have a top line here, just the internal, sending those quick messages, instant messages. What about those? And also something you call we-mail or me-mail or something? What is that?
Well, instant messages are also legally discoverable. They're also permanent. They seem very much like they pass, and after you turn your computer off, they go away. But the Mark Foley scandal told us, no, instant messaging lasts forever, too. So we are really being watched in this, and you need to be judicious. You need to be careful. We-mail is what we call, when you're doing your email very fast and you're in that really quick mode, we call that me-mail. In other words, you're thinking, how can I empty out my inbox and just get this done? You're not thinking about your recipient, you're not thinking about your organization, you're not thinking about your professional reputation. You're just trying to whip through those 100 email messages. We've all been there. But what we tell people in our corporate training classes in our book, be cautious, be careful, because you could send a message that could hurt your career.
Whew, my goodness. Mike Song, you have just scared me half to death. Thank you for your tips, man. We could talk to you here for a while. We have a lot of questions we'd like to ask you. But Mike Song, again, the co-author of The Hamster Revolution, How to Manage Your Email Before It Manages You. Sir, thank you so much for the work that you do. Thanks for stopping by with us.
Pleasure being here.
All right, let's see what we've learned here. We didn't talk about this, but
apparently have learned a lot.
I learned a lot. But we asked earlier what NTN means in an email message. Well, that answer is no thanks needed. And then here's another one that can help you manage that inbox. What does NRN mean? That means no reply needed.
You know, I like that one
need to
because
use that
so
one.
many times you send an email and they'll write back, "Will do, thanks." And that's
Not necessary.
even not necessary. But by the way, we're not joking when we say TJ learned a lesson. In fact, I just started deleting all of your
She did.
emails just to help you out, my friend.
I appreciate it.
Funny stuff, if you only knew. Remember this, we want to hear from you about your email nightmares. Send us your stories to weekends@cnn.com. But first,